and welcome back to the Tolliver Covenant. Today's video is about my marriage testimony. It's gonna be a quick video because my in-laws are actually on the way here so we can go to the rodeo. The good thing is that a couple weeks ago we actually shared our testimony with our marriage group. So I already had it written up and I'll just share it with you guys. So Chris and I were both raised in and out of the church. We knew of God, but we didn't know him personally, or in other words, we knew religion, but not relationship with God. We didn't fully understand the harm in having sex before marriage, doing drugs and alcohol, both at a very young age, especially when everybody around us was doing it too. We met in October of 2015 when we both started working together. I was actually dating someone, yet in a phase where I knew that relationship wasn't working out. Still, I tried to avoid Chris, but we ended up working together very closely and we instantly became very good friends. I chose to break up with that boyfriend I was with at the time with the idea that I was going to stay single for a while, but Chris had other plans and I think God had other plans too. We started going on dates in the beginning of November. By the end of it, we had officially became boyfriend and girlfriend. We got very close in that short time and really just unpacked a lot of our childhoods and previous relationships together like we never had with anybody else. And that's just a lot because I'm very introverted, I was very closed off. So for me to be able to connect with Chris so quickly and so deeply was just like it had never happened before. Off the bat, we noticed we were complete opposites, but at the same time we had some similarities, and somehow our relationship just worked. Eventually the topic of marriage came up and I shared with Chris how I didn't believe in it because of the fact that all of the adults in my family were on the third or second marriage. And while I thought my parents were the exception that had just 2 years prior announced that they were separating, so I really didn't see the point in getting married and was shocked that he thought differently because all of the adults in his life were also on their second or third marriages. But after listening to Chris's view of marriage and his intentions, I knew that he would be the one guy I'd be willing to make marriage work with. We were both tired of doing things the wrong way and wanted to be the first in our family to break the cycle of divorce. So in January of 2016, we found ourselves in the courthouse, surprisingly with a large group of friends who thought we were crazy, but supported us anyway, and family members who didn't agree with us getting married so soon, but wanted to be there for us anyway. No one really understood us or why we were getting married so soon when we both had been in 2 long and serious relationships prior, but never made it to that point. I remember the day of the wedding, someone questioning him, asking him if he was sure he wanted to do this, and somebody else telling us that we weren't going to make it past a year. We both knew we had work to do, but also that we couldn't make it without God. So in February, we got baptized as a couple and started working on building a true relationship with God. We then found Hope City in late 2017 and quickly joined a freedom group where together in May 2018, we healed from our past sins. From then on, we experienced infertility, career changes, family disputes, and more, but managed to make it through them with the help of God and everything we had learned. It's not always easy because we are complete opposites, but it's worth it. I feel that early on, what really shaped our marriage and how we approached it was the book that our very good friend recommended called The Meaning of Marriage by Timothy Keller. Essentially, we approach our marriage as a covenant, not a contract, of unconditional love and willingness to be molded by God and each other to become better versions of ourselves. A covenant meaning a lifelong commitment modeled after the relationship between Christ and the church. Contrary to what society teaches us about marriage being a source of personal fulfillment, like what can I get from this, what can they do for me, or they just have to accept me for who I am. To us, marriage is about partnership, growth, and mutual support, not perfection or constant happiness. So it's more of how can I serve my spouse? How can I improve as an individual that will make our marriage better? What can I give or do to make our lives better? That is essentially our marriage testimony. I feel like I can go so much deeper into it, but it would just take forever. And a lot of like my other testimonies that I'll be sharing, all of that like includes Chris. So you'll be able to see like the interaction and just like how God uses our relationship, how God shows up in our relationship. But one thing I did want to talk about was, and honestly, like, I don't fully believe it, but whenever I heard about it, I was like, whoa, that's like definitely us. So it's called the invisible string theory. Pretty much is like the universe saying, or, you know, God, like what's meant to be is meant to be. There are multiple ways that you can meet that person. And that was definitely true for Chris and I. So there was 3 ways that we could have met besides the way we actually met. Chris and I met when we were both in college, like age. We met because we just happened to end up working at the same place. And there was actually 3 other ways that we could have met. The first being that we actually grew up about 5 minutes away from each other. Like within like a 5-mile radius was where he stayed, his high school, where I stayed, and my high school. So that was pretty crazy. He actually went to the same high school that one of my cousins went to, and they drove the same school bus together. And then the other way is that my older cousin's brother-in-law was best friends with Chris's uncle, who had known each other years before we actually got married. And so I just thought that was real crazy, because it's like, out of all the people in the world, like it just so happened that there was multiple ways that we could have ended up meeting each other. And I really feel like it was just, you know, God's timing of like, okay, you guys stop fooling around, like it's time for y'all to meet. But most importantly, you know, God was saying like, come back to me. That's really why I cherish my marriage so much. And if you guys know Chris, y'all know he is an amazing husband and he serves me very well. We complement one another in many ways. Definitely go read the book that I mentioned, but also there's like so many free resources like on Right Now Media that our church gives to us for free, with a ton of Bible studies that are for marriages and couples. And I would say, like, don't wait until you're married. Start now, whether you're single, whether you're dating. Start learning about God's design for marriage and how to do it according to his word and his will, instead of what culture is teaching us. Because 1, they don't teach us enough, and 2, society says it's easy to just give up and go on to the next person. But there's things in you as an individual that if you don't heal or you don't deal with, you're just gonna carry on to the next relationship, and it's just gonna be a cycle. So definitely put in the time and effort for your relationships, not just romantic, but family relationships as well. And most importantly, I'd say submit to God and the way that he teaches us. I hope you guys got something out of that. And it's time for me to go to the rodeo. Bye.